Imagine a world where your destiny is not entirely in your hands. This was the world of Epictetus, a great Stoic philosopher. Born into the harsh reality of ancient Rome, Epictetus was no stranger to adversity. He started life as a slave owned by a wealthy and influential Roman. Despite his lowly status, Epictetus was granted the privilege of education, an opportunity he seized with both hands. His life took a dramatic turn when his master granted him freedom. Now a free man, Epictetus could fully dedicate himself to the study and teaching of philosophy. He became one of the most influential voices of Stoicism, a philosophy that had taken hold in the Hellenistic period. Stoicism, in its essence, teaches the development of self-control and fortitude as a means to overcome destructive emotions. It promotes the idea that we cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Epictetus's teachings have survived the test of time, influencing countless generations. His philosophy wasn't just about grand ideas and theories. It was grounded in practicality, in dealing with the challenges of everyday life. His wisdom was rooted in his own experiences, and he believed that philosophy should be lived, not just studied. His words often carried a tone of resilience, a testament to his own transformation from a slave to a respected philosopher. He was a firm believer in the power of perspective, in the ability to find tranquility and peace, even in the face of adversity. His teachings were not about denying emotions or hardships, but about learning to navigate them with grace and resilience. Epictetus's influence on Stoicism and his enduring wisdom have made him a figure of great significance in the annals of philosophy. His teachings continue to inspire and guide individuals in their pursuit of a virtuous and meaningful life. So now that we know a little about Epictetus, let's take a look at one of his most powerful quotes. The essence of Epictetus's teachings lies in understanding our own power and control. Let's dissect one of his famous quotes. This quote from Epictetus is a profound one, urging us to confront our failures and shortcomings head-on. It begins with the acknowledgement of defeat, a situation we all find ourselves in at one point or another. It's a universal human experience, but the defeat itself isn't the focus here. It's the reaction that follows. Epictetus talks about telling oneself that they will overcome, which is a powerful, positive response to failure. It's a self-promise, a vow to do better, to rise above the defeat. But here's where the quote takes a critical turn. It warns us about the danger of empty promises. If we carry on as before, if we don't change our actions or our approach, then our promise to overcome becomes nothing more than words. It's like promising to quit smoking while lighting up another cigarette, or vowing to eat healthier while ordering another fast food meal. The promise becomes hollow, meaningless. The wisdom of Epictetus reveals the consequences of this unchanged behavior. He warns us that we can become so ill and weakened, not necessarily in a physical sense, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Our continuous failures, our unfulfilled promises to ourselves can wear us down. They can diminish our self-esteem, our confidence, our belief in our own abilities. But perhaps the most dangerous part is what comes next. Epictetus cautions us against the risk of not even noticing our mistakes. If we keep repeating the same patterns, if we never learn from our failures, we can become blind to our own faults. We can lose the ability to self-reflect, to critically evaluate our actions and behaviors. And then comes the final blow, the rationalization of negative behavior. This is when we start making excuses for our failures. We tell ourselves that it's okay to keep smoking because we're stressed, or it's fine to eat junk food because we're busy. We stop seeing our behaviors as problems and start accepting them as normal. We rationalize our actions, and in doing so, we move further away from the promise of overcoming our defeats. This quote is indeed a powerful reminder of our own responsibilities and actions, but how can we apply it to our daily lives? It's a call to self-awareness, to self-improvement. It urges us to not just make promises to ourselves, but to follow through on them, to change our behaviors, to learn from our mistakes, to stop rationalizing our failures. It's a lesson in personal growth, in becoming better versions of ourselves. And that's the wisdom of Epictetus. It's not just about understanding our power and control, but about using them to create positive change in our lives. It's about turning defeat into victory, not through empty promises, but through meaningful actions. Now, let's see how we can apply this wisdom in our everyday lives in 2024. First, let's consider the power of self-reflection. Epictetus urges us to acknowledge our defeats and learn from them. In a world where we're often encouraged to gloss over our mistakes and present a flawless image to the world, it's important to be honest with ourselves. When we stumble, let's take a moment to reflect. Why did this happen? What could we have done differently? This practice of self-reflection can be as simple as spending 5 minutes at the end of each day or week looking back at our actions and their consequences. Secondly, we need to understand the importance of change. If we continue with our old habits after a defeat, we're setting ourselves up for failure. Epictetus warns us not to carry on as before. So, if you've recognized a mistake, take it as an opportunity to change your behavior. Maybe it's time to break a bad habit or to start a new, healthier one. Change may not be easy, but it's often necessary. Thirdly, let's talk about the danger of ignoring our mistakes. Epictetus tells us that if we don't address our errors, we may eventually become so weakened that we won't even notice them. We might even start rationalizing our behavior. To avoid this, we should strive for mindfulness. Be aware of your thoughts and actions, and don't let mistakes slip by unnoticed. On to the fourth point, the power of taking responsibility. We live in an age where it's easy to play the blame game, to point fingers at others for our setbacks. But Epictetus reminds us that we have control over our actions and reactions. So, let's take responsibility for our mistakes and seize the power to correct them. The fifth principle is embracing the concept of growth through adversity. Epictetus believed that our obstacles can become our stepping stones. So, let's view our defeats not as setbacks, but as opportunities for growth. Let's learn, adapt, and grow stronger with each challenge we face. And finally, let's remember the importance of perseverance. Epictetus encourages us to keep going, even when the going gets tough. If you have told yourself you will overcome, then keep that promise to yourself. Don't give up when faced with adversity. Instead, hold on to your resilience, your grit, your determination. In summary, Epictetus's wisdom can guide us in our 2024 world by encouraging us to reflect on our actions, embrace change, stay mindful of our mistakes, take responsibility, view challenges as opportunities for growth, and persevere in the face of adversity. So, Epictetus's wisdom can still guide us in our modern world, but how can you make it a part of your life? Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a way of life. And we'd love to know how you plan to incorporate this wisdom into your life. Epictetus once said, "If you are defeated once and tell yourself you will overcome, but carry on as before, know in the end you'll be so ill and weakened that eventually you won't even notice your mistake and will begin to rationalize your behavior." This quote, though centuries old, holds relevance even today. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where these words echoed your thoughts? Perhaps you've tried to overcome a challenge only to fall back into old habits and convince yourself that it's okay to stay within your comfort zone. Maybe you faced a setback and told yourself you'll rise again, but you didn't change your approach. We invite you to share your thoughts on this profound quote. How do you interpret it? What does it mean to you? And more importantly, how do you plan to apply it in your daily life? We're all ears for your stories, your experiences, and your trials. Because at the end of the day, we're all in this journey of self-improvement together. Your experiences matter not just to you, but to all of us. They serve as reminders that we're not alone in our struggles and that we can find wisdom and strength in the collective experiences of our community. So, don't hesitate to share. Whether it's a personal anecdote, a thought, an insight, or even a question, we want to hear it. It's through these shared experiences and discussions that we can truly engage with the wisdom of Epictetus and make it a part of our lives. Remember, the journey to self-improvement begins with a single step. So, start today and keep sharing your experiences with us. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights into self-improvement and wisdom from the past.